Okay, is there revolution in the air? Marami tayong nakikita. Yung conference last Wednesday was just one group. And in fact, many of them were associated with Gloria Arroyo kasi nandun si Archie Intengan, the Gloria Arroyo Bishops, si Bert Gonzalez, and so on. And then they invite a lot of well-meaning people, and then halo-halo ng mga religious groups, fundamentalists, Muslims, evangelicals, and so on. We have had religion in this country for 500 years. Wala naman nangyayari sa atin. Samantalang yung mga bansa na hindi ganyan, kundi more secular, China, Japan, and so South Korea. But that was the subject for the second part. Now we're in the third part. Marami tayong naririnig na revolusyon. And itong isang meeting last Wednesday was transformation. Di ba? Yung kaliwa, meron din silang panawagan, revolution din, Pero nandidiyan ba talaga? Given the fact that the 2016 elections is so near, people will just probably opt for, instead of revolution, election. What do you think?
No, it's in the air.
It's in the air.
There are two major components of a revolution. The subjective conditions, meaning the people who are involved in it, and the objective conditions, the economics, the politics, the social system. All these conditions are present, except that there is a missing factor, as I keep on saying over and over again. In the subjective condition, who is going to lead it? Now, that's the task on the part of those who are involved in the search for solutions to our problems, to determine who the leader should be. Because whether we like it or not, you need a major component in the subjective condition, which is that of a leader. Nobody would follow a leader who would send everybody to sleep while he makes mention his program, his vision of the country.
Well, what is required of the leader? Aside from Bono Adaza, the leader, let us look at the other possible leaders. Is Binay the leader?
Can't be. He has a serious baggage.
But he is a leader of the not of the Liberal Party, but of the group that he leads now.
He's a leader of the status quo.
His party is the ano bang tawag sa grupo nila? Una.
Una muna.
So marami namang sumusunod sa kanya. Ang mga leaders ng Nabotas, sila Toby Tiangco, and may bagong recruit nga, naging spokesman, Remulla, one of the Remullas, and so on. So, may mga sumusunod, so leader siya.
Pero that's in the traditional concept, Mintong, The leader that this country needs is a transformative leader. None of them are transformative leaders.
So what is the evidence that Binay is not transformative?
Well, he has no program to begin with. What's his program?
Hindi ba yung kanyang sinasabing suportado siya ni Butch Aquino, program yon?
Oh, yung Chris Aquino.
Chris Aquino.
Si Bolsi Aquino. That's not the program. They should come out with the program and stand by the program that they want to present to the people. They're even talking of parliamentary system. Parliamentary system means program.
Ibabalik ba ni Binay sa taong bayan ang kuryente? Ibabalik ba ni Binay ang tubig sa taong bayan? Yung mga yan.
Yun ang dapat niyang sabihin. Anong mangyayari sa Pilipino under his presidency?
Bakit walang mga kandidatong nagpo-forma na magkandidato ang nagsasalita dyan?
Wala, because wala silang programa. Wala silang programa.
O takot sila, nabanatan na sila ng ABS-CBN, Channel 5, Inquirer, Philippine Star, na lahat, pangalinan, nandyan na lahat.
And the oligarchy.
And the oligarchs, mga Ayala, and so on.
That's true. We are the only ones talking about it. Because to begin with, we are not interested in running for public office within the context of the present system. It doesn't mean that we are not interested in public office for service, but not to run under a corrupt
system. Sabihin na natin system para wala tayong favoritism kung sinong corrupt.
Under the corrupt system, we are not going to be involved. We will correct the corrupt system. And we believe, I have faith, that the Philippines can change within a period of 10 years. Unless our lifetime does not go beyond 10 years, we will say
let's
we are
look at
hopeless.
examples of other countries para hindi tayo masabing partisan dito. Sa Egypt, si General Al-Sisi took over from Morsi. Tinanggal niya yung religious, politically religious group. Sectarian nga yun.
Correct.
Yung Muslim Brotherhood. Tinake over niya. Wala nang eleksyon. Pero mag-eleksyon na, tapos ng eleksyon, na yung military dictator has become the president.
Of course.
Leader ba siya? Hindi naman siya talagang hindi naniniwala ang mga iba na binoto siya.
No, subject to determination. Yung leadership is subject to the approval of your constituency. And when you present a program, when you present a vision, if the constituents agree with you and go with you, march with you to achieve the objectives, then you are a leader.
Okay. Well, check lang natin ang sound system natin, no? Okay na ba? Okay na? Okay. I'll give you another complicated situation. President Bashar al-Assad ng Syria. They have ruled with an iron fist for a long time, but Bashar al-Assad, the son now, has been trying to reform it slowly. Ano? Pero ayaw ng Western powers at gusto siyang siraan, ginamit na naman yung sectarianism. Ginamit yung Sunni versus Alawite, which is basically Shiite, pinondohan at inarmasan ng Sunni. Siyempre, gera yan. Ano? 4 na taon na, 200,000 ng patay. But so many others, Christians, Alawites, and other minorities and religious minorities, kumakapit kay Assad ngayon dahil takot sila dito sa Sunni terrorists and militants and so on. Ano? Is he a leader or he's only a leader of some and not of all the country ng Syria?
Well, he has yet to prove himself. Because unless you succeed in the effort, together with the other groups that clutches to you, your being acknowledged leader remains to be proved. It remains to be proved.
Of course, he just won an election, ano? And mainly, the votes came from all those na takot dito sa terroristang mga Sunnis. Ano?
That's true.
Pati mga Sunnis, na moderates.
But the judgment on his leadership will depend on the passage of time. Because if you get dethroned after 6 months, you are no leader.
So matibay talaga siya. But also, leadership involves diplomacy.
Of course.
Hindi na siya nagtagal kung wala siyang suporta ng Russia. Ano? And some, to some extent, the passive support of China versus yung active destabilization and subversion of the U.S. and NATO.
By the Western powers. Like, example, one concrete example of leadership is Muammar Gaddafi. You cannot stay as a leader of a country for 40 years if you don't have the defined qualities of leadership. Lee Kuan Yew. It's proven that by the very methods that he used, with the vision that he has for Singapore, he really is a leader. Until now, he's still dictating the pace of the development in Singapore. Franklin Delano Roosevelt, the only 4-term president, until now they still talk about the New Deal, about what Roosevelt has done in the United States of America. These are the tests of leadership.
We now have 2 issues. Is there revolution in the air in the Philippines? And anong leadership ang pwedeng makagawa nitong pagbabagong ito?
It's in the air. It's in the air.
It's all, pero the way of saying it's in the air is it's all up in the air. Walang mangyayari. No. It's all up in the air.
No, it's not all up in the air, Minto. As a matter of fact, my formulation of the possibility of a revolution happening in this country within the next few years is framed in this manner. The clash of the traditional elements is Aquino on the one hand, and the Magic Coalition on the other. Binay, Gloria, Erap. But there is an X factor in this game. There are 100 million Filipinos. It doesn't mean that every Filipino in this country, especially the prospective leaders, subscribe in traditional patterns. We have non-traditional leaders, not only here, but in other countries of the world. And soon enough, the leader coming from the X factor will emerge. It will surprise the country.
Then it's still up in the air kasi hindi nga natin ma-define eh.
We cannot define it.
Pero let me ask na.
We cannot define it in clear terms because of this problem.
Anong problem?
The kind of leadership that will define itself will be subject to criminal prosecution within the context of the present system. If he makes these declarations in the open, he will likely be prosecuted, among others to inciting to sedition,
hindi pa naman tayo pinaprosecute on that.
Hindi pero tayo, we're helpless character as they define it. We don't have the army, we don't have the money, we don't have a concrete following. So, they take us only as commentators of except of the present events. But there are people who are not visible, unlike you and me, who are planning, who are working for the emergence of a new leadership in this country with a concrete program.
Okay. Noong 1989 ko, yung mga unseen peoples biglang lumitaw.
Yeah, correct.
Hindi lang si Honasan, kundi sila, yung mga kasama mo at kaibigan mo, sila General Abat.
General Abat, General Abenina, General Comendador, General Blando, so many of them.
But still, you also tell me that sino bang pinaka-supremo nyo yun? General Abenina. We're also waiting for American go signal.
Oh, that's the problem.
That's a problem.
As a matter of fact, if you talk of coup d'etat in this country, it will likely fail because the military always depends on what the Americans have in mind. As I've been telling them over and over again, this is our country.
Kaya walang revolusyon kung nandiyan pa ang Kano kasi they will maintain the present system.
Yeah. Mintong, there are ways of doing things. There are established formulas unseen for the moment because this formula will never surface. But one fine day, that's my prediction. Before, by the way, modesty aside, I have a 2-2 batting average.
Two. It's a 1 and it's a 2.
And it's a 2. Clear batting average. I'm not making any predictions as of now because the various elements and the various components are not in place. But one fine day I will. And you will be the first one to know.
Well, another occasion where the unseen movers within the military came out was Oakwood.
Correct.
Now they have achieved more success than RAM in the sense that they have 1 senator and they have 2 congressmen.
Yes.
And maybe more coming because the organization is building up. Isn't this one of the options?
An option, but that takes a long time.
Of course.
I think of an operation which will not go beyond a period of 4 months and which at the point of execution will last only for 24 hours. That's the X factor that I see in this country. But you and me, we are hopeless, except to talk about it, not even concretely, because we are not in league with anybody who will trigger this particular move in some future time. But it's only saying that in the same manner I predicted the fall of Marcos and the fall of Arab, that the system one of these days will fall within the timeline of 10 years.
Isn't another revolution up in the air right now, or is in the air right now, which is the revolution of the right? And the Americans, the Cha-Cha is a revolution,
of course,
if it pushes through. And that means all the protection for our industries for Filipinos will be demolished, and 100% ownership of media, land, corporations, public utilities, and everything. That's a revolution, although a retrogression.
No, this is known as the revolution from the center. This revolution from the center, they can try it.
Or is it
they can try it, but I'm positively certain that they will not succeed.
But it's a counter-democratic revolution. It will
of
counter the little democracy that we have.
Of course, the democratic concepts that we have, because in this country, we really don't have a true democracy. We have a democracy in form, but not the democracy in substance, because the one controlling the democratic mechanisms are the oligarchy. The oligarchy. And the creatures or the running dogs of the oligarchy. This thing should stop. One fine day it will, I know. For as long as there are people like you who think, there are people like me who
like
think,
us, like our audience, no?
Yeah, like so many members of our audience who think in the same manner that we do. One day, to the surprise of everybody, the dreams that we dream today will just come true.
Okay, and these are the same dreams that Rizal, Bonifacio, Mabini
yes.
dreamed, genuine independence and sovereignty, building an economy that is for Filipinos, and a political life that is by and of the Filipino people.
This is one realization which we should have. We should tell everybody, this is our only country. So many times in the past, I was given the temptation to work in other places, but I didn't like to work in other places because this is my only country. And it's here that we should fight for the existence of a true democratic system for the country and our people.
And it's only with our own country that we can participate in the community of nations.
Of course.
If we migrate and stay permanently as migrants, then wala tayong poder sa politika ng mundo. Ano? But we can earn a better living siguro.
As a matter of fact, Mintong, a new leadership in this country can help in the transformation, not only of Asia, but the current concepts which is still operating within the Cold War mentality. Imagine the United Nations, only five nations in the Security Council will decide on what will be done by the UN. If one of them vetoes a particular resolution which is approved by virtually everybody in the Security Council, that's an antediluvian concept. And the Philippines, with the correct leadership, can do something about that to bring about some changes on the international level.
Well, final question still on all this revolution. Itong revolution na mas karumal-dumal na nangyayari, it's starting from the Middle East, but I think we can predict that it will spread to the whole world like Afghanistan and the Mujahideen has done. You know? This is the Islamic state or the caliphate. You know? And confirmed na may a few dozens, if not a few hundred Filipino Mujahideens have joined.
More or less. It's confirmed by some segments of media. 200 Filipinos are involved in the ISIS movement, both in Syria and in Iraq.
And meron diyang uuwi. Either magbakasyon o ma-assign na naman dito.
Not only that, this administration is trying to create an ISIS in Mindanao.
Okay.
That should never be allowed.
We have to talk about that in another episode because we've run out of time. So, pag-isipan natin po itong lahat. We expect you to be part of this leadership to elevate the discussion and the national dialogue. Mabuhay po and have a good weekend. So,